What's up, people of YouTube? This is BMX Brendan 2 here with Taylor from TJ Chris 905. Today we're doing a video review, or well, technically comparison. We'll be comparing a 13-inch MacBook Pro to a, what is a 17-inch?
15.
This is a 15-inch Toshiba Satellite laptop, Satelite laptop. I think that's what they call that.
It might be 15 or 17, I don't remember.
So yeah, this will kind of be a, I guess, Mac versus Windows type review and opinion. There probably is, better videos on YouTube. If you're looking for one that goes more in depth, I recommend watching that. But for your viewing pleasure, alright, so if we see the Mac, we have this shiny, well, technically fingerprint magnet aluminum design with the Apple logo, which has a LED light in the back. Port-wise, we have the power, which is for charging. This is the MagSafe charger. Cat 5 or Cat 6, Ethernet, Firewire, DisplayPort or Thunderbolt display, 2 USBs, SD card, and headphone jack, which supports a microphone in as well. On the other side, we have a Kingston lock. I think that's what they say that is, and then we have the disk drive, since this is the non-retina display. We move on to the keyboard. It's pretty simple. We have, of course, the 720p FaceTime camera with the backlit keyboard and the Magic Trackpad. Alright, now with the Toshiba laptop, it's a little bit different. We have this plastic black design. Has a nice feeling to the touch, if you can see with the texture of what it is. Pretty nice, I guess. Port-wise, we have probably a little bit more of a variety than Mac. We have our disk drive, which is the kind you just press the button and it pops out. We have a USB port with the power. If we turn the computer around, we have nothing. On the other side, this is where it gets more in depth. We have the lighting was a little bit better in here. We have the line in and headphone jack. We have 2 USBs, HDMI, VGA, Cat 5, and then your ventilation for air, and then a Kingston lock.
Which I don't know what those Kingston locks do.
They're for security, like if it's at a store or something, they keep it secure. Yeah. Bottom, we have ventilation and other accessibility compartments, and then the battery. Unlike Mac, you don't get
a removable battery.
And yeah, removable battery, any of that. So yeah, that's basically the basics of the design of both of these computers. Alright, we'll start with the MacBook Pro with technical specs. The MacBook Pro, this is the non-retina display. It has a 2.5 gigahertz dual-core processor, Intel Core i5, turbo boost up to 3.1 gigahertz with 3 megabytes LC catchy. I have no idea what that means. And you can configure it up to 2.9 dual-core. And this computer right here is a 2.9 gigahertz dual-core i7. Memory-wise, we have 4 gigabytes of DDR3 memory at 1,600 megahertz. Storage, 500 gigabyte, 400 RPM hard drive, and you can upgrade it to SSD, and we have Intel HD graphics 400 at the resolution 1280 by 800, I believe. 720p FaceTime camera, Wi-Fi 802.11 BNG compatible, Bluetooth 4.0 wireless technology, and pretty much all the basics, and the OS is OS 10.10 Yosemite. So that pretty much covers the MacBook Pro. Alright, to move on to the Toshiba laptop. You can see we have it set up to do a display that will be used later. But the Toshiba laptop, from what I've gathered, it has a 500 gigabyte spinning hard drive with 8 gigabytes of DDR3 RAM. It has an AMD A6 processor. Is that how you say it?
A6.
A6 processor. And it is an Energy Star, I guess. And this is a quad core. Some more features the computer has. It has an HD True Bright display with entertainment ready with HDMI and fast transfer with USB 3.0. Display wise, we have I believe this is 1600 by 900 display.
Yeah,
clocked at 60 hertz, I believe. It has USB 3.0 compatible, same as the MacBook Pro over there.
8 gigabytes of memory.
Yep, 8 gigabytes of DDR3 memory and spinning hard drive. We have a 480p camera for Skype or whatever you use. So that's pretty much the basics of this computer. In a second, we'll do some comparisons between the MacBook Pro and this, and some cons and some basically good things and bad things about each of these computers. So, stay tuned. Alright, we'll continue with the MacBook Pro. Now, the MacBook Pro has a pretty nice design, slim, like I just talked about in the opening of the video. Price-wise, this Mac retails for $1,099. That is, of course, the lowest end model with the 2.5 gigahertz. For an extra, I believe, $300, you can have 3.1 gigahertz turbo boost.
But I say it's too much money.
Yep, it is. Anyway, the Toshiba, I believe it retails for around $400. Yeah, it's like the, premium 8 gigabytes of RAM, all the good, things that come, loaded with the Toshiba. Well, let's start with the light comparisons. Now, we'll start with the Mac, like I just said. The Mac has a glass display, which, in my opinion, glass is just nicer for a display. It makes it have a crystal clear, look to it, and it just looks 10 times better. Unlike the Toshiba, which has a plastic screen, but still a good computer, I will say that. Keyboard-wise, the Mac has a backlit keyboard. We turn it up here, it has a nice little backlit keyboard, which is nice for working at night or whatever you do. Which, unlike the Toshiba, it does not have that. But still, there are some cool things the Toshiba has that the Mac doesn't have. Trackpad-wise, the MacBook has a magic trackpad, which Apple calls it, and you can do all these fun, cool gestures. And
it's not magic.
Well, that's what they call it. And just, all the cool little gestures, whatnot. So yeah, that's with the Mac. Let's move on to the Toshiba versus the Mac. Alright, with the Toshiba, we'll compare some stuff that the Mac doesn't have. One thing that kind of sucks that the Toshiba has built in that the Mac doesn't have is a built-in HDMI port. Now, you could probably say the newer models, yes, they have a built-in HDMI port, but still there's some other stuff I hate about the newer models. Also, this has a built-in VGA port, which is nice for hooking it up to a second display, which is being used right now with the computer.
Well, this is HDMI.
Yep, HDMI. You can, like I said, you can buy the adapters, and most Mac users probably know, which they retail for around $30 United States.
Too much money.
Size and weight of the MacBook Pro, because I just have that open, 12 by 78 inches, and then 0.95. Yep, all that fun stuff. I'll leave a link to the specs of this Mac in the description of the video. I'm going off topic here, if you can see. I will say something nice about the Toshiba versus the Mac. The lighting wasn't so bad in this room. We have a Numpad, which Numpad is nice if you're working, with Excel or with some other business-related programs. It is just nice in general, but with the Mac, you could probably just get a USB keyboard for that. Something else I've noticed with this computer. The speakers are present. Not saying that they're better or saying they're worse, they're just right there. With the Mac, we don't get that. They're underneath the keyboard back where the fan is on this model. If you have the 15-inch, you most likely have the speakers on each side. Another cool thing with the Toshiba. Well, Taylor will probably say it runs Windows.
Yeah, it's good.
And I will say Windows can do a lot more than Mac can do, but Mac can also do some pretty cool stuff that Windows can't do itself. He's browsing the Rockstar page, if you can see that. Yep. Pretty much spec-wise, this computer has higher specs than the Mac. Just the processor on the Mac is more improved than the processor on the Toshiba. Just the RAM and the Toshiba is more than the Mac. But still, the Mac, don't get me wrong, it's a great computer. We can pretty much do whatever we want. If you notice the dock, yes, I made it look like this. It's not the stock Yosemite dock. Still pretty cool. So yeah, my opinion on the Toshiba, it's a great laptop if you're looking for something cheap and something that will get the job done. Mac, I prefer if you're someone who wants to do professional video editing or just doing something intensive like work or school. But don't get me wrong, the Toshiba is a great computer. Let's go over some other specs of the computer. Let's start off with cameras. Alrighty, this is a camera test. You can see me on the camera on the Mac. There's Taylor over there.
Sorry about that.
This is the Mac camera. Apple claims this is a 720p HD FaceTime camera. In a second, we'll be doing a comparison with the Toshiba camera on that laptop. So, enjoy! We'll move on to the Toshiba. Ta-da! We're on the Toshiba laptop. This is the camera built into the Toshiba. If you can tell, it is not bad. I'm actually very impressed because most laptop cameras in, non-Apple products usually suck, but this has a pretty good camera. If you can see, it's good for like FaceTiming or Skyping or pretty much any of that. What do you have to say about it?
It's better than my HP.
Yeah, he has an HP laptop. That's a whole nother story. We'll talk about that later, but camera test on the on the Toshiba Satelite laptop. I can't say it right for some reason.
Satellite? I don't know.
I don't know. Someone will probably correct me in the video comments. But anyway,
yeah, please do.
And actually, leave a comment down below on which camera, in your opinion, you guys think is better. I bet my Apple fanboys out there will say Apple's better, but
yeah,
give your opinion. Like, just what looks better. Just be honest, because I want to know what you guys think. But anyway, thank you for watching this camera test. Alrighty, one more thing I forgot to say is let's do a speaker test with the MacBook Pro and the Toshiba laptop. First, we'll start off with the MacBook Pro. And I know probably the copyright police is probably going to get to me for this, and I know, but, I'm willing to give it a shot. They can come at me for all I care. But anyway, check out our record channel if you're into that. But anyway, that's not the point of the video. The point of the video is this. So, we're going to play just a quick little sample of a song here that the copyright police will be mad at me, but who cares. Anyway, here we go on the MacBook Pro, and this is full blast. So, enjoy. Alright, so we have the speaker test. My opinion myself, I would say the Mac wins for a couple reasons. One, it has more of a mid-range. Like, there's more mid-range and there's more bass, and it just sounds more, it sounds more realistic. Now, I'm not saying that the Mac is better than the Toshiba. With the Toshiba, it gets a lot louder. I will say that it's much, much more louder, but just, it has more of a tinny sounding. Like, I don't know, it sounds tinny. What would you say about it, too?
Well, I'd say this sucks. This is okay.
Yeah, like I said, there's ups and downs. Like, this gets louder and this sounds better. That's the thing. But, who knows?
I've heard this. Some songs
are okay, but some songs are not. And some songs are okay and some songs are not on that. But that's kind of just, the basics of the Mac and the Toshiba. Let's start off with a couple of, just little things that are annoying about the Mac. For one, like I said, we were talking about, to wrap up the video, we were talking about not having display ports built in the computer. Yeah, that is very annoying, and on Mac we have to buy adapters for that. But, I don't know who really cares, but that's really all I have much to say about the Mac versus this. I will say the display is much better on Mac than that. I believe it's like IPS display, I think that's what they call it. You could correct me if I'm wrong. And on here, it's okay, but just not probably the best. But
it's better like this.
Oh yeah, it's better if you have a monitor, of course, plugged in, and you get better resolution and all the good stuff. But really, that's all I have to say. Thank you guys for watching this video. I'm sorry it wasn't in depth like most probably comparison videos are, but I don't really care. Thank you guys very much for your time watching the video, and have a good one, everybody. Ciao! And I apologize. You clicked the video and then an ad came up as soon as I said goodbye. But anyway, here's another funny greeting. Later, everybody.